Welcome back to Dacat World, where creativity meets crypto. I'm your host, Russell Corey. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I just share my story as a retail investor. And I want to talk a little bit about Hollywood in and of itself and the changes that are going to happen with AI. And it's really simple. In the old days, to get high quality video images, you had to physically create it. You had to go out with a camera crew, you had to go out with a cast, you had to go out with special effects, makeup, wardrobe, you had to feed your crew, you had to have a permit to film in that location. You had all these things that went into filmmaking that wasn't really filmmaking. When you get down to just coming up with an idea for a story and editing it and presenting it to people. And to do these things on a professional scale with amazing looking images cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to do. Now, with the AI revolution that's going on right now, and again, it may not be perfect right now, but where do you think it's going to be in 5 years, in 10 years? The average person is going to have access to essentially a Hollywood studio. And they're going to be able to make whatever movie they want. How many times have people said, I have an idea for a movie, and it's never going to happen because to get from your idea that's in your head to a movie screen, it's too much money, too many steps. It never happened. And that's why everybody was such a cliche. Everybody said, I have an idea for a movie. And then you'd get people like me who were so ambitious, they actually went to Hollywood, wrote their script, and tried to get it produced or have a career as a writer. And the problem was there were so few movies getting made because they were so expensive. Same thing with TV shows, that there were a very limited number of slots for people to actually be paid Hollywood writers. And you'd have a few people that got lucky and got those jobs. And if you asked them, it was all skill, it was all meritocracy, that they were the best writers, and that's why they got there. Kind of like who's the fastest runner, then they win the race. Not that way. It's really about who you knew, about getting lucky that first time and establishing a track record. How many stories have you heard, right? Star Wars was rejected by every studio, right? Finally, an executive at 20th Century Fox took a chance on George Lucas, but it was rejected at all these studios. And that was Star Wars. How many potential Star Wars were out there that did get rejected by every studio and didn't have that one executive at the end, save them, right? And actually make the movie? How much money was left on the table because Hollywood financially just could not make everybody's movie? So you're going to end up in a world where your average person with a decent idea for a movie and at least enough motivation for them to actually make it with AI. And before, it had to be in a movie theater, on a movie screen, or it had to be broadcast on network television or cable television. Well, right now, there's so many different digital platforms that you can broadcast videos on, right? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, all these places you can distribute your movie. So you can make your movie and you can distribute your movie. But here is the biggest catch. As amazing as all these advances are, you're still going to end up with the same problem that a Hollywood movie studio has right now. How do you make money as a filmmaker? Now, a Hollywood studio makes money because people go to a movie theater and they pay money. They buy movie tickets to watch the film, and then they can take that film and they can put it on the different other revenue generators, video on demand, home video, and then if it has life, you can adapt it for if it could be like a Broadway show or a TV series or toys or games, you can generate revenue that way. So as an independent AI filmmaker, how are you going to make money? Well, you can kind of do what you do now. If you have a YouTube channel, you can get paid for your views on YouTube. It's very hard though. You do not make a lot of money from YouTube videos. You have to be pretty lucky to find an audience and get enough views to actually make a substantial amount of money that could support you as a filmmaker. Very tough. It can be done, but it's tough. Or you can put up. Look, I'm gonna be honest. You can beg for money, right? You see someone on a street with a cardboard sign that says, "We'll work for food." That's essentially what you're doing. If you have a Patreon or something, you're basically begging for money. Say, "Look at the videos I'm producing. Give me money so I can keep producing these videos, so I don't have to go out and get a job. Please just send me your money so I can do this." And you're essentially begging for money that way. And for some people, it works out. They get their audience. The audience likes the content. If they want to keep that content coming, they have to pay the artist to keep doing it, and they can keep putting out the content. Now, then that's essentially like what a Kickstarter is. You go on Kickstarter, you say, "I have this idea for a movie. If you send me $50,000, I'm going to get to make my movie. And if it becomes $1 million franchise, good for me. But for all the people who sent me the $50,000, depending on what the reward was, whether I'm going to, you get a digital copy of the movie, whether you get a thanks and the credit. But if my idea turns into a million or $1 billion franchise, the people that put that $50,000 in, they're not really going to see any of that. You're the creator, and it's just like traditional Hollywood, traditional standard. When I create something, I'm the one that's going to make the millions, and it's all the fans sending their money to me. Now, what's different about Dacat, and what can Dacat do that these others can't? Well, unlike a Kickstarter where you just send me the money for me to make my movie, with Dacat, I've already made my investment in Dacat. I own 2%, a little over 2% of the Dacat project. So if you just put your $100, don't send it to me as a donation. If you invested your $100 in Dacat, the value of Dacat hopefully would go up. And when the value of Dacat goes up, I now have the capital to make content. And when I make content, it spreads the message of Dacat to other people. And if people are making a decision on what crypto to buy, where to invest their crypto money, Dacat looks like a much more promising project for them to put their money in than something that isn't making movies, isn't building a story universe. And that's the idea. So if you want to make money as a filmmaker, what you would do first is you would have to invest your money in Dacat. And that's where the bell goes off for a lot of people. Aha, this is a crypto scam. These people are scammers. It's a grift. And if that's how you feel, fine. Go find something else to give your money to. Go give your money to the Dallas Cowboys. Go give your money to, Disney and Star Wars and Marvel. They'll be glad to take your money. Go over to Warner Brothers and give it to them for their content. And you can invest your money that way, where you're guaranteed to see no return on your investment. Oh, but Russ, that's entertainment. Let me tell you something. Do you know how entertainment, we had recently had a run, and you just watch your account go up by thousands, and all you're doing is just, looking at your phone. You've already done the work, and you see it go up like that. That's better than any sports score. That's better than any movie to feel that reward of winning money. It is like gambling. It's addictive. But to me, that is very entertaining. Now, maybe that's not for everybody, but for me, I don't spend a lot of money on professional sports and on artists. Taylor Swift does not need any more of my money, right? Though my daughter might have something to say about that. But that's why I choose to support, Dacat and get in this game. I always wanted to be a filmmaker, and this is one way that it allows me to be a filmmaker. That you come in, you make your investment in Dacat, and then you support Dacat with your artistic abilities. And the more Hollywood artists that we can bring in and bring their experience into the project, Dacat gets the reputation as being the Hollywood crypto. I call it crypto wood. That this is where you can come if you want a life raft against AI, against these changes that are coming. This is what you can do. Now, if you want to be resistant against it, that's fine. That's your choice. But this is coming. The ability to create these amazing images for pennies compared to what it takes to make a traditional Hollywood film. The economics are undeniable. The story I tell people is, imagine you're at home and you want to have some toast, but you're out of butter. Now you can get in your car, drive to the store, Go pick the butter off the shelf, go to the cash register, check it out, drive home, and you have your butter, right? Or you can pick up your phone and order some butter on Instacart, and 10 minutes later, someone knocks at your door and there's butter there, right? Now, which is easier? Probably just ordering it on Instacart and 10 minutes it shows up at your door. Now, imagine this scenario, right? Going to the store, that's your traditional Hollywood, and then using Instacart is AI. Imagine if the butter that you go to the store for cost $5. But imagine the butter that Instacart just brought you costs 15 cents. And it's the same butter basically. What are you going to order? Are you going to go to the store and get the $5 butter, or are you going to order the 15-cent butter from Instacart with AI? And even if you're a traditional, movie studio and you can't quite go to AI, or you feel obligated to, I'm not going to use AI, we're doing it the traditional way, and we're going to pay $5 for that butter. Well, when these new companies, when these new producers, when these new production houses come in and start using AI to create their products, and they're only paying 15 cents for their product and you're paying $5, how long do you think it's going to be till economically the new people using AI are going to beat out the traditional people that just stick to making movies the old-fashioned way that costs so much more? But again, how do you actually make the money? Yes, you're saving money on production, but how do you actually, make money as an AI artist? And again, come to Dacat, make an investment in Dacat, and then support Dacat with your talents. And if you're lucky, your investment in Dacat goes up enough that you can support yourself from that investment, or at least you've made some money from it. And that's the key. And I know to some people that's going to sound like a scam, it's going to sound like a grift, and all I can say is don't judge us on our promises, don't judge us on our trust me bro. Go look at our track record. As a community, we've been together since May of 2023. We rebranded as Dacat because we wanted to own our own IP, own intellectual property in January 2024. Since then, we've gone up. Since we relaunched in January 24, the investment is up almost over 100%, almost 200%. In the past, it's in April because Ethereum went down and took a massive dip. We go up and down on Ethereum because that's what we're built on. But when Ethereum came back from early April, we've gone up like 600%. And why do we keep going up? Because the core community holds. We have a plan. We came together and we said if we make major investments and the whales hold, we can achieve amazing things. And so far, we have been a great community. But if you're a Hollywood filmmaker and you're worried about AI, or you're an aspiring Hollywood filmmaker and you want to know how you can actually make money as a filmmaker, you know what? Go to Hollywood and start knocking on those doors and try to become a filmmaker, because I know you're so great, you're going to make it. Everybody else failed, but you're the one that's going to be the next Steven Spielberg. So go knock on those doors just like I did, from 1991 to 2015, and ended up with not much of a career. I was lucky. I got to work for Disney for 13 years, scheduling commercials and producing little, billboard clips, little promo clips. But other than that, and a few small option deals, I never made it. And it wasn't for lack of ambition. It wasn't for lack of work. It was just economic reality that Hollywood can only make a small amount of films a year because of the high cost to make and market and distribute those films. Now, what if those costs came crashing down with AI and digital distribution that we have today? Well, now you can make more of those films, but again, how do you make money off the films that are made? It can either be views on YouTube or one of these other digital platforms, or like I said, you can beg for money. Like, hey, look at me. Look at these great movies. If you love this comment, please donate on my content. Send me a super chat on YouTube. Or you can join a community like Dacat and say, we're backed by a cryptocurrency. And when you invest in the cryptocurrency, the capital we have to make content goes up, and we can spread that brand. So if you want to be in the industry, you're welcome to go try, or you can come over to Cat and start making content today. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and I'll see you on the next episode.